My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. As you know very well that I am your teacher, Miss Afsha Qasim, and I am teaching you English A. My dear loving students, you know that in month of September we have already completed our lessons. Lesson 1 is A Little Princess and another poem is Ode to Autumn. Students, in the month of October, we have a very interesting poem, and the name of this poem is Matilda. My dear students, Matilda poem is written by Hilaire Belloc. Hilaire Belloc was born near Paris in 1870. His first book was a small volume of verse published in 1896, and from then on a flood of books, pamphlets, letters, and more poured from his pen. His work encompasses French and British history, military strategy, satires, comics, and serious verse literacy, criticism, and travel translations, religious, social, and political commentary, and hundreds of essays.
Logs. Now, let's meet some characters of the poem. First, Matilda. Matilda was a girl who used to tell dreadful lies. She is the main character of the poem. She was died because of her habit of telling lies. Next, Matilda's aunt. Matilda's aunt was a very strict person. She used to punish Matilda whenever she tells lies. She made every effort to improve her, but all her efforts were waste. Now, we can start the poem. Here is the poem. Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempted to believe Matilda. The effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, towards the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play, and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Here, Matilda is being described as a girl who tells dreadful lies, and because of this, her aunt was very upset and she tried to improve her and put all her efforts to make her understand the value of truth. But Matilda was not at all ready to improve. One day, her aunt was not at home, so she thought of a mischief and called the fire brigade of London. Next, within an hour, the gallant band were pouring in on every hand, from Putney, Hackney, Downs, and Bow. With courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped roaring through the town, Matilda's houses burning down. Inspired by British cheers and loud proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the hall-room floor, and took peculiar pain to souse the pictures up and down the house until Matilda's aunt succeeded in showing them they were not needed, and even then she had to pay to get the men to go away. Here, according or after the call was done, the fire brigade had come to Matilda's home and they were very quick to reach there. Then her aunt came back to the house and tried to tell them that they were not needed. Her niece Matilda had done such wrong phone call to you. But still they would not understand and they had to take the money, and Matilda's aunt had to pay them as they had come to save or rescue Matilda from the fire. Next, it happened that a few weeks later her aunt was off to the theatre to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She had refused to take her niece to hear this entertaining piece, a deprivation just and wise to punish her for telling lies. That night a fire did break out. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard scream and bawl and throw the window up and call to people passing in the street, the rapidly increasing heat encouraging her to obtain their confidence. But all in vain, for every time she shouted fire, they only answered little liar. And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and the house were burnt. Yes, students, a few days later or a few weeks later, her aunt left Matilda home because of her lies. She wanted to punish her and she refused to take her with herself. But suddenly, at that night, a fire broke out in the house. Matilda started shouting, screaming, yelling, and calling people from the neighborhood, but nobody was listening. Everyone had known that the girl is a little liar, so they were just thinking that she was still telling lies and shouting, yelling uselessly. But when her aunt returned, she saw that Matilda and the house both were burnt. So students, what we have learned from this poem, here is a moral that we should never tell lies, because it lose one to their trust from us and it is very hard to regain it. I hope you have understood the poem, and if you have any query you can ask me on the Campus Care app, and you can also submit your assignment there so that we can communicate over there. Thank you, students.